Let's put the Capitol behind us. All right, so we're not going to wait for people to come in again. I think the camera's, where is it, right here? Nope, up there. There it is. I want to give you a quick update today. If you missed any of our other videos, we're going to kind of give you a recap. If you've got some questions, leave them there in the comments. I think it's that way, or is it that way?
Wherever they are.
That way. All right. If you got a question, go ahead and put that in the chat room. We'll get to that. So today we had there were 4 gun bills. We testified on 3 of them. Actually, we testified on 2 of them, but we signed up to testify on 3 of them. The third one, what the heck? It's been a long day. So we've been here since about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and the biggest, I think, bill is House Bill 316. And what that does is it basically creates an awareness program, as they describe it, kind of like click it or ticket, or don't, you drink, drive, die, I don't know, whatever those things are. But what it would do is it would create a program, an awareness campaign to solve 3 things. One was suicide prevention, one was safe storage of firearms, and the third one, the first one actually, because I just did 2 and 3. The other thing that it did something else. All noble causes, but here's the problem with, and why we oppose that bill, other than the fact that, by the way, this is Rick Briscoe, for those you don't know. He is our genius encyclopedia of information and our legislative director.
More importantly, I watched CJ's back for Mad Mommies.
Yeah, there you go. He's my backup in case Mad Mommies try to assault me again. So 316 by Howard, it sounds really good. The problem is when you start putting legislation in that has to do with firearms, you have to watch and recognize. You have to be 2 and 3 steps ahead. So while it sounds good that yeah, we don't want people committing suicide, we don't want people, just leaving their guns out for little kids to get access to, and we don't want whatever that third thing was. I don't even remember. We don't want those things. Gun violence. I don't know, whatever it was. Oh, children. Was it reduce children?
It was to educate children about guns.
Yeah, and so the problem with this is, first of all, we've already got these kinds of programs out there. The NRA does this. The National Shooting Sports Foundation does this. To a smaller degree, we used to do this, and we'll probably get back to that one day. We do this. But there are all kinds of programs out there that already address suicide prevention, whether in the civilian sector. So what this bill does is it creates government bureaucracy, and now you've got taxpayers footing the bill. I think she said $1 million is already earmarked for this thing.
And when was the last time a government program came in on budget?
Right. So the follow-on question is, well, what if this program is not successful? Because one of the things that the author brought up and some of the other people brought up is they brought up the click it or ticket, or the drink it and drive, don't drink, don't drive. But have people stopped or started wearing seatbelts? I mean, are we still writing seatbelt tickets? Yes, we are. Are we still seeing people drink and drive? Yes, we are. Is there anyone in their right mind, even in their wrong mind, is there anyone that thinks you don't have to wear a seatbelt in society? I doubt it. Is there anyone that thinks it's okay to drink and drive, even those that are doing it? No, I doubt it. I don't think there is. So those campaigns are still there, and yet you still have those problems. So what happens? So what used to become a secondary offense, for example, on the seatbelt issue. Hey Terry, what's going on? So what used to be a secondary offense, in other words, you couldn't pull somebody over just because they weren't wearing a seatbelt. They had to have done something else, and then they could also get a ticket for the seatbelt. Well, you still had problems, so what happens? They mandated, okay, now you can be pulled over strictly for your seatbelt. That's what's going to happen with HB 316. Right now, it's just an awareness campaign. Hey, people should lock up their guns. They should not make them accessible to children. Oh, and you should not kill yourself with a firearm. Well, what happens when that fails and the bill doesn't do what ostensibly they're saying it's supposed to do, which is lower all those things. Well, then you take those things that are right now just an awareness campaign and you make it into a mandatory campaign. Okay, well, now we're going to pass a law. And by the way, there are laws right now that would do all of these things, that would disarm people who are depressed and likely suicidal, who are required. There are bills that would require you to lock up your guns in a safe if you're not physically using them or touching them or they're within harm's reach. So you can already see the slippery slope. And that's why we've got to fight these things at the lower level. If you read the bill, it sounds like, I mean, if you, like what I told Howard's staff, I said, look, if you bring a Martian down that can read English and he reads the bill, any person in their right mind would go, yeah, that sounds like a good bill. Sure, I don't see any problem with that. But then he doesn't recognize what the reality is with how people are pushing gun control and the slippery slope of all they've got to do is get their foot in the door. Well, once you get their foot in the door, what kind of toe fungus are leaving behind? So that's the big issue. And it's going to lead to mandates. So what is right now just an awareness campaign leads to a suggestion campaign. What starts as a suggestion campaign leads to a mandate campaign. What leads to a mandate campaign leads to a criminalization campaign, and boom, you know where I'm going on that. So hopefully this bill won't go anywhere. It did die last time. Hopefully it will die this time. We also did a bill. The other bill that we testified for was today was a busy day. Well, we did do red light tickets, but that has nothing to do with Open Carry Texas. Crud. Yeah, there you go. Red light tickets. It only looks backwards to us. It's not backwards to them.
Okay.
What was the other gun bill? We did 2 bills.
Let me see if I can pull it out.
And I even went up there and... Anyway, it was basically a bill that would have allowed or made special access, given special privileges.
Oh, this was the airport bill.
Oh, the airport bill. That's right. So expanding gun-free zones. And look, I don't care how good it sounds. We don't believe in gun-free zones. So even if a portion of a building is already a gun-free zone, and they're like, look, it makes no sense that this portion's not, it doesn't matter because we didn't think the original portion should have been a gun-free zone to begin with.
What the bill would have done is create a state-level offense that mirrored a federal offense.
Yeah.
And the police were saying, oh, we can't arrest people for violating federal law. And I was scratching my head because part of their oath of office is to enforce or uphold the laws of the state of Texas and the United States of America. And I'm still wondering about that one.
Yeah. And then there was a bill that would allow certain judges and municipal attorneys to be able to be exempted from requirements of a license to carry and all that kind of thing. And we disagree with that because we don't believe that government officials should have special privileges. And we understand the idea that, you know, there are judges that have to deal with defendants who get angry and they threaten judges or they threaten prosecutors. I mean, prosecutors are the scum of the earth. And so it's understandable that you know, they would want to be able to defend themselves. But you know what? I'm a gun rights activist. I get death threats all the time. So why can't I get exemptions? So just because you're getting threats, well, you know what that means? If you're getting threats, it means go out and get a license. Why should you be different and get one free when everybody else has to pay for it? So that's what we're fighting for today. We already talked about constitutional carry, so we're not going to go into HB 357. Nothing has changed on House Bill 357. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll give you kind of a little insight. Here's what we're going to do, though. Be prepared to come down here because once constitutional carry is confirmed dead, right now it's just kind of on life support. And it's on a really bad life support. Like the oxygen is going through...
It's fading fast.
Yeah, the oxygen is going through tubes with black mold in it. So, you know, it's just a matter of time before it gets worse. But once 357 is dead completely, we've got a fun event planned.
Stay tuned for more details.
Stay tuned. Let me just put it this way. If
in the meantime, the number to call is not BR549. Area code 512-463 1000. Tell the staff of the Speaker of the House, Dennis Bonnen, that you want House Bill 357 to get a hearing and a vote, and quickly. Be very polite, but make your position known. Melt those phone lines down.
512-463-1000. We've got to do this every day. We've got to keep it going for a few more days. We've got to get Dennis Bonnen to recognize that people care about this. Call your friends, call your neighbors, anybody that you know in Texas, on your Facebook page. Put something on your Facebook page saying call Speaker Bonnen 512-463-1000 and tell them we want a hearing on House Bill 357. So I'm not going to tell you exactly what we've got up our sleeves yet, but I'll give you a hint. What you need to do if you don't have it right now is go get some black clothing. Something black that you can wear. No, not a mask. I'm not talking about Antifa stuff. You know, if you can get if you have a black suit, just get that ready. Go get it dry cleaned or something. If you've got a black polo, some black pants.
You'll really regret it if you miss this.
You're really going to regret it, because this is going to be, if this bill fails, this is going to be an epic rally. All right. And we're going to need a lot of people there. We're already in the planning stages of it, getting all the parts in place. We're having stuff built for it. So what's that tell you? The only thing we ever had built for a rally so far was signs. This isn't going to be a sign. This is a prop. So we're going to put on a production, folks. So get ready. We're looking at probably late April, I think. But if this bill fails, we are going to have a rally down here in Austin. Look no earlier than the 25th is probably about when that's going to happen. Unless there's a hearing on HB 357, then we need to get everybody here. But we're still going to do that rally if the bill dies, even after the hearing. Again, 512-463-1000 is the number to the Speaker's house. 512-463-1000. Please go to Open Carry, Texas, and help us, because Rick's driving up from San Antonio. I'm driving down from Temple. There's gas involved. Well, I don't have parking anymore involved, but there is food involved, especially when it's a long day like today. I don't know what time it is. Let's see. It's 6:15, so we've been here for 10 hours, over 10 hours. I'm hungry, and we're both on pretty limited incomes. We're just veterans, and I could go get a full-time job, but then I couldn't be here. Thankfully, I've got a radio show that allows me to leave every now and then, and Rick's a good retired guy who's busy with other stuff as well, and he's able to come. So we're blessed with that right now, but we're not blessed with money to be able to self-finance. So please go to opencarrytexas.org. Become a high-caliber donor. You know, if you love your AR-15, be a 223 donor, $2.23, $5.56, $7.62. Hey, be a 30-06 donor, a 380 donor.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever. I mean, and literally $2.23 from a lot of people adds up. It helps, because when we spend a lot of money in gas. One of these days, I'm going to show you my odometer on my 4-year-old vehicle. It's pretty sad and pathetic. Also, if you're watching this in El Paso, that's something I want to bring up to you guys. If you're watching this in El Paso, I am going to be in El Paso from May 2nd, and actually this might be news to Rick here too, from May 2nd to May 5th. I'm driving down on May 2nd, but on May 3rd, we are going to have an open carry event, and I haven't created the event page for this yet. We are going to have an open carry event in Will Hurd's district. All right? Will Hurd is trying to institute universal background checks. Will Hurd is a Republican by name only.
Congressional District 23. If you live in that district,
or you can get to that district, we're going to Will Hurd's district because he's screwing us at the federal level. So I'm going to be there on the 2nd. On the 3rd, we're going to go down to Will Hurd's office, and we're going to fly some signs, and we're going to just have a really good time, a really open carry event down there. We haven't been out that far west before, so it's predominantly for our West Texas folks because they are so far out there. But we've had a lot of El Paso people come to our events here in Austin and Houston, San Antonio, Olmos Park. It's time to show our support for them and head out there and do a big event for them. So we're going to first go out there to Socorro outside of El Paso. We're going to go down to that district. They are extremely anti-gun. And we're just going to go and do an open carry walk, try to talk to people. Then that night, we're going to go to El Paso, and we're going to do a walk in an event that evening in El Paso. And then the next day is a Keep Texas Red event. So for those of you that are Republican by political persuasion, there's a Keep Texas Red event that I'm going to be at on Saturday. And I'm going to be wearing my Darth Texan costume.
Don't miss it.
You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm a nerd. I like Star Wars, so I mixed Star Wars and Texas all together, and I created a Darth Texan costume. And I've even got a Stormtrooper rifle for it. And then I leave on Sunday. So it's gonna be 2 days of fun, Friday and Saturday. If we have time, if the event isn't all day long on Saturday, Terry, that's on a Friday and Saturday. The 3rd is a Friday, and the 4th, may the 4th be with you. That's why I'm wearing my Darth Texan costume, because it's May the 4th, is a Saturday. And I think we're going to do, if the Keep Texas Red event, if we've got time, either in the morning or the afternoon, we'll probably do another event in nearby, what else is nearby El Paso? There's another town that Brian was telling me about out there.
Fort Stockton's about halfway in between.
Well, Fort Stockton is where, that's going to be where the Keep Texas Red is going to be, at Fort Stockton on Saturday.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just do an open carry event there in Fort Stockton. That's what it was. That's what it was. We were doing an open carry event in Fort Stockton. I'm glad you said that. So that mark your calendars now for the 3rd and the 4th. If you can only make the 3rd, come on the 3rd. If you can only make the 4th, go on the 4th. Because it's a 10-hour drive from where I'm at, we're going to leave on the 2nd, and then we're going to come back on a Sunday. So we'll be driving on a Thursday, driving on a Sunday.
And remember, the number to call is 512-463-1000.
That's right.
Call it every day and ask for an update on the hearing for House Bill 357.
And I'm going to go through some of these comments, see if anybody had any questions really quick before we close this. Bill in Queensland, in Australia, I have to get a licensed gun owner to shoot the roos and the deers to keep them under control on our cattle stations. I can't own a gun without a license here. Well, welcome to Texas. Well, no, we can have rifles. Yeah, we can have rifles here. There's a reason I don't live in Australia. I would love to go to Australia. Well, it's on my bucket list.
One of my Facebook friends shoots F-class in Australia, Nikki Broom, and she's a devoted competitive shooter. And so give some love to the people down under who are fighting the good fight.
You guys have a fight down there. You're kind of like Florida does. Now, I have to ask you this, Bill. All right, you're from Australia. I got someone here from Australia. Do you guys really say, let's put another shrimp on the barbie?
Only on commercials.
Is that only on commercials? I got to know, Bill. You got to tell me.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah. I know I'm, what's the word? I'm profiling Australians there, but it's a serious question. I love Australia. I want to go to Australia so bad. I'll tell you why. The Australian soldiers that I worked with in Afghanistan are some of the coolest soldiers I've ever worked with. The Australian Army cracks me up. They're awesome. I love their shorts that they wear. I didn't get to wear shorts. We have to wear pants. But I love the Australian. Man, those Australian troops are awesome. Love the Aussies.
They're great allies.
Wish Australia had the one. So, and Bill, let me tell you this. This is Australia. I mean, you probably don't call it the First and Second Amendment, but I would argue that in Australia, in Ethiopia, in Syria, in Russia, you have the same right to keep and bear arms that I have here in America. The problem is the people allow the government to take it away from them. And these rights are universal rights. That's why, you'll see me arguing when people say, oh, illegal immigrants shouldn't have guns. Well, everyone should have a gun. They have just as much of a right to self-defense as I do. I don't want them here, but they still have a right to self-defense.
Look for the meme that CJ posted of him in front of a portrait of the final battle of the Alamo. The defenders fought Santa Anna for their rights, their right to bear arms, and we're fighting Dennis Bonnen.
Yes. How far is it from Arizona, CJ? Well, El Paso is right there on the border between New Mexico and Texas. and there's only that little piece of New Mexico. So if you're in the southeastern part, you know, in Tucson or something like that, it's pretty easy for you to get to. I think Tucson, if you're in the Tucson area, you might maybe 2 to 3 hours.
It's right at 1,000 miles from San Antonio to Phoenix.
Yeah, you might have 2 or 3 hours.
50 to El Paso, and it's about an hour and a half or an hour and 45 from Tucson to Phoenix. So
yeah, I'd say about 2 to 3 hours at most. So we're not far. Where we're going to be is not far from Arizona. If I can drive 10 hours and you're 3 hours away, I don't want to hear any lip that you can't be there. Let's just put it that way. All right, Mr. Raz or harass? Oh, reasonable suspicion or harass. I like that. Raz or harass? I bet most people probably don't get that. Open carry pistol is prohibited absolutely here. Long rifle carry is prohibited entirely as well. Where are you? Where's Mr. Rass at? I must have missed that. Can't shoot a deer with a rifle here ever. Oh, wait, are you in Australia too? Okay, so Bill says no, they don't say let's put another shrimp on the Barbie. That really ruins my view of Australians. Okay, so Bill, let me ask you this. What is the funny thing that people think Americans say all the time? Other than, you're not taking my guns. Aussie women's accent is sexy. Oh, there is a chick that I watch on YouTube. Can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's a conservative. And yes, I like Australian accents, absolutely. Trying to get my wife to talk to me sexy in Australian in certain times.
But we won't go into that.
Let's see. 4 hours to El Paso. So I'm driving 6 hours longer than that. So you can drive 4 hours to El Paso. Raz. All right, I'll just call you Raz. Right on. All right. Oh, you're in Illinois. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Got it. I got it. Okay. So, all right. So that's the update here. Again, please make the phone call, 512-463-1000. 512-463-1000. Tell Speaker Bonin that we want a hearing on constitutional carry. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this. If you're watching this video, because some of y'all are in Arizona, call that number anyway. Tell them, look, we've had constitutional carry here in Arizona since 2010. It hasn't been an issue. It's not going to be an issue in Texas. If you're watching this video and you live in a constitutional carry state, call that number anyway and say, look, I don't live in Texas, but I live in a state that has constitutional carry, and it's not a problem.
That includes Oklahoma and Kansas.
Kansas, Kentucky.
Tell them if y'all can do it, Texas can.
That's right. So even those of y'all that aren't from Texas, call that number. And again, go to opencarrytexas.org, opencarrytexas.org. Please help us. That money goes to our gas. It goes to our signage. It goes to our special events that we're planning. So we do need donations because we're gonna have a few expenses on this event that we're planning here pretty soon.
Now, you can also donate the cost of a movie or a box of ammo.
Yeah.
And give us some ammunition to fight in the legislature.
Or hell, if you're a cheap tightwad and you don't want to just give away money, go to our store and buy something. That gives us money too.
Show your colors.
Yeah, show your colors. All right, ladies, gentlemen, take care of yourself. God bless you. Be safe. But above